have you become?
I am what you made me.
And my dude just runs away again. Like, it's just,
He gone.
We gone.
We out.
Run. We out. We gone. Kenobi strapping on his Nikes in this entire TV show. Like, Jedi, do it. Like, that needs to be the entire mantra for this entire show.
His
What is
Air
up?
Force Ones.
Yeah. Obi 2, yeah. What is up, everybody? It is your boy, it's Con back at it again.
We back.
There it is. Guys,
Nice.
of course, sitting across from me virtually, you heard him, the Bionic Man himself. He is more machine than man now. And no, I am not
That's true.
talking about Darth Vader.
Officially 10% disabled. Official rating.
adding on to the previous count. Of course, Jay Breezy in the house, and sitting across from me as well, the casual kid,
A.K.A. Jordan.
the Cantina Splicer. Guys, thank you very much for joining us this week at ConCon's Cantina as we talk about Kenobi Episode 3, also known as Kenobi Part 3. Of course, we will keep housekeeping short. You already know social medias down at the bottom if you are watching us on YouTube. And if you don't know, ConCon's Cantina at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. The only place we are different is TikTok, which is ConCon's Podcast. Again, the only place we are different.
ConCon's Cantina podcast, right? Not
Yeah, did I
ConCon's
say it wrong?
podcast.
Yeah. Did I say that?
He said ConCon podcast.
ConCon Podcast. I'm changing it, guys. I'm glad you know now.
No drinking.
No drinking. Guys, of course, this episode is sponsored by our patrons. We love each and every single one of you. We very, very much. Dylan, still
So, especially
king,
Dylan.
Especially Dylan, still king patron.
He gets a platonic kiss on the cheek.
He is still what are we calling him? Kingpin. He's still KP. King patron still.
King patron.
King patron. Guys, the
guys.
agenda
Keep up.
of this episode, of course, we are talking about Kenobi Episode 3. So, before we get into it, one thing that Kenobi probably needs after this episode is a drink. So let's head into the cantina and drink for him right now.
Welcome to ConCon's Cantina.
All retired clone troopers working the bar.
But remember, no droids.
Oh, man. After giving a little bit of new... I got this, like, new Imperial Galactic credit, you know? No one wants this Beskar stuff anymore. You know, no one wants this anymore. So I threw a couple of Imperial credits in this dude that smelled really bad. He had cool blue armor, though. And then I went in and I got a drink. What I am drinking...
What is that?
What?
It looks like root beer.
What?
Yeah.
How does this look like root beer? It's an old-fashioned, bro.
It's very dark.
It's very dark.
It's you got, bro. We got the camera, we got the lights. It's trust me,
okay.
it's not that dark.
Okay.
But I did. This is an infinity bottle, old fashioned. So
Classic.
just a bunch of different bourbons. If you don't know about an infinity bottle, when you get a little bit left in your bottle, you throw it in a nice decanter or something, and you mix bourbon. So this is my infinity bottle. Old fashioned. It's very, very good. 3 shots of bourbon, a half tablespoon of simple syrup, 2 eye drops of bitters, and a cherry. And you can't. I don't think you can see it. Wait, yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can.
I got my
I see
Vader
the cherry
glass.
at the bottom. Yeah, I see the cherry.
No, see the Vader on the
Yeah.
glass.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You can't escape him. Can't escape him. Had to bring him into the cantina with me. Jordan, what are you drinking?
Pulling out a beer.
Can you
I've
still
had to-
taste?
Can I
Number
still
one question.
taste?
Can you
Yes.
still
Yeah.
taste?
Never lost my taste, thankfully. Never lost my taste. Still technically COVID positive, but recovering.
Hence the remote show.
Hence the remote
Yeah,
show.
hence the remote show.
What I'm drinking is the Dusk Black Lager from Burial Beer. In
Ooh,
Oh,
Burials.
dude, Burial's got amazing
Such good stuff.
Amazing stuff.
I like the skull looking
yeah,
situation on
the
it.
bird skull with the
Yeah.
dragonfly.
Oh, man, you've been holding out. I didn't realize you had that much of it. You brought some over the last time to the house. It's good stuff.
I brought 1 can last time.
Oh,
and
is
this
that all?
is
You
the
only brought
second
the
can
one?
out of a
Oh, okay,
4-pack. Yeah, no, great, fantastic beer. I love black lagers, black IPAs.
Oh, yes.
We don't have too many in our area that make
No.
those kind of beers. But
I know
when
one spot that has a black IPA, and it's like more of a seasonal thing. They're
Yeah.
hard to find.
and I know it's warm weather, nobody wants the heavy, dark lagers, but this is a fantastic beer, and give it solid 8. It's a great one to reach for every single time.
I like it.
What do you got, Justin?
You can't go wrong with Burial. Like everything that Burial has put out, I think has just been probably 7 and up. I don't think I've had something less than.
Want to go back there so bad.
I am drinking, in Johnny Depp terms, a mega pint of beer.
Shout outs to our boy getting his W today, getting the W, but no money. I wanted him to get the 50 mil so bad.
He got 15.
He got 15, but that's
got
nothing
50.
to him though. I wanted him to get the 50 though.
I don't think it was really about the money. I think it was
No.
about
No, of course not. Of course not.
It was the name clearing that was the big.
The real question is, does he get his role back, and do we get another Pirates movie? I think that's.
Well, he said he didn't want to do another one, so I don't think we're gonna get another Pirates. With him
another
in it.
Pirates, dude.
I
Put
just
him in
want to see
Star
the
Wars
movies again.
Yeah, put him. I'd put him in Star Wars. We got so many shows coming
Oh,
out.
he would be so cool. He would be so cool.
Put him in cosmetic makeup and make him Hondo.
Called
Oh,
it.
that
would
is
be
great.
amazing.
That's it.
That's great.
Put him in cosmetic makeup and make him Hondo. Sorry, Justin. We're
Yes.
derailing your drink
I
super
am
hard.
drinking a 1 liter of a delicious Amberbach. It is everything that I ever could ask for at the end of a day of work. Not only is this the cheap, also, if you guys didn't notice, I have a kegerator at my house, and it's why have I wasted my life not having them? Holy crap! But these Amberbachs are probably going to be my go-to keg for at least the foreseeable future. The price is right. They have just enough complexity and flavor to not get bored with it, but they're also just light enough that you don't get that like I can't drink another one type of a feeling. And you can be like, we did a lot of work outside because we had a giant kids party last weekend, so leading up to it, you could pound these while you're working and sweating in 95 degree weather. So this, I mean, for me, this is 10 out of 10. This is hitting absolutely perfect.
Yeah,
and
Amberbach
on draft at home,
is definitely
it's,
better than
it's
the
a
bottle.
win.
Yeah,
$46 for a pony keg of Amberbach. It comes out to being like 60 cents a beer.
that's crazy.
not a 12-ounce bottle, a 16-ounce pint for like 60 something cents. Get a kegerator. Jesus.
See,
it's
I'm
worth it.
waiting for you. I'm waiting for you to get another kegerator because I know. Oh wait. Hang on. It's because you're below me. Because I know how you do things, and what you're gonna do is you can't just have one beer. You're gonna have to have 2 beers, and so what you're gonna do is you're gonna need selection, and so you're gonna have 3 kegerators with 3 different beers. That's what we're like, the Brady Bunch. Like, hey, Jordan. Yeah. Okay, that was fun. Anyway, that's that's what's gonna happen.
Oh yeah, I'm already talking to Liz, and she's like, I was like, how would you feel if we get a bigger kegerator that has 2 taps, and we can have an Amberbach,
dude,
and a delicious IPA?
What people do is, I've seen people, they get the
regular
double door,
fridge.
they get the double door refrigerators. They deactivate the freezer. They put the CO2 in the freezer side. They put multiple kegs in the refrigerator, and then they'll have multiple taps on the door. Like, that's a great idea.
I think I have caught the bug. I'm for sure going to do something because it's so cheap and it's so fun, especially if you're like to entertain and you have people. It is dangerous.
Dangerous.
Don't get any of those high octane ones because I can see that going awry quick.
Old fashions for me are always 10 out of 10. Unless you just make a really, really bad one. 10 out of 10, Hidden Jedi definitely coming out. They're risking their lives against the Inquisitors for one of my old fashions, that's for sure. So 10 out of 10 for me. Jordan?
8. It's a solid 8 out of 10. If you don't like the dark lagers, it's not for you, but I think this beer should be for everybody. It's an 8 out of 10.
And Jay Breezy.
Oh, that's 10. 10 Jedis, 10 Mandos, 10 younglings,
10 younglings.
10 Wampas. They're all coming.
10 big old bantha lips.
No, 20 bantha lips.
20 yeah, there you go. Top and bottom. It's actually just 5 banthas with,
Oh my God.
math. Guys, it is time. Let's talk about episode 3 of Kenobi.
Let's do it.
Hello there.
Man, a lot happened in this episode. And also not a lot. We stayed on this new planet, mind you, which was nice. It's really just California. Come on, can we find another shooting location? This was just some rich person's backyard.
If you live in California, you got a pretty good variety. You want to go mountain? You want to go beach? You want to go desert?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
But I mean, who would have thought that less than a week after we see our first episode, we are already got the moment of holy crap, blade on blade lightsaber battle.
Oh man,
dude, did you expect it that quick?
No.
My initial prediction was we weren't going to see Kenobi even touch his lightsaber till the 5th episode. And even on this episode, I thought for sure, kind of like what he did with Reva in episode 2, is he kind of held it and he just never activated it. And I thought he was going to continue this perpetual running from Vader.
Almost
and I'm so glad
afraid to turn it on.
Yeah. Someone else talk. I'm glad that they did clash sabers. I think it was needed at this point.
Honestly, coming into the show, I thought his encounter with Vader was going to be later in the show. It was going to be something that they were going to build up to eventually, and the lightsaber battle was very unexpected, but it was awesome to watch and also terrifying to watch Kenobi have to face that. It was fantastic.
He is not on his game right now.
No.
I am absolutely loving the broken Kenobi. I think it's something I didn't expect, but once it's happening now, 100%, oh my God, yeah, with the trauma that he endured with not just Anakin, but the entire Jedi Order, and then the isolation, you kind of probably, I mean, he is a Jedi, but he's got to go a little crazy. You can kind of see, he's not used to dealing with people in any way. His connection to the Force is so weakened and cut off right now. Dude, I'm loving it. I'm loving the character development because this is not anything we've ever seen from Kenobi. Obi-Wan has always been the shining example of what a Jedi should be, and right now he is just shattered and broken, and I love it.
Ewan McGregor's doing a fantastic job with his acting, and you hear it in his voice, his facial expressions, his demeanor. He's really embraced, like you said, this broken character, and
he has
really
sad
brought him
eyes.
life. Yeah,
his eyes are so sad.
Yeah, for sure.
Man,
tired and sad eyes.
I think so. I wrote a little review, spoiler-free review on the Instagram. Instagram, Concon's Cantina, by the way. And I just want to read this real quick, because what I said, I still hold true, but I have changed my rating. So, absolutely love this episode. The visual effects and costuming, sound design was completely over the top for me. The directing and scene set by Deborah Chow is absolutely genius. The use of dark/night really lent to visual effects and allowed our imagination at certain point, allowed us to use our imagination at certain points of the episode. My original rating was 9 out of 10. My new rating for this episode is 8 out of 10, which we can get to that later. But my absolute favorite part of this entire episode is when we have the scene where Vader's activated his lightsaber. We get that slow activation. We've seen it 2 times before, right? We see it in Empire when he faces Luke. We get that really, really slow, right? And then we see it in Rogue One in the hallway scene. And then we see it again now in Kenobi. And then they don't interact, and Kenobi runs away. And all we're hearing is, Kenobi activates his lightsaber and he's looking around because he hears Vader, but we don't see Vader. And I love this idea of Vader literally using his cape to hide his electronics.
His light ups.
Yeah, because he kind of like walks up to him, and there is kind of like a berm or a dune that he sort of walks around. But obviously, like, with how close his voice is, it's audio work. We get it. But it's just like, it's this horror aspect where we get taken out of for a second that like really worked. Because I feel like horror almost doesn't work in Star Wars. I think there's some ways where it could, but for the most part,
Vader can pull it off because you just have the ominous rebreather sound, and you kind of imagine it echoing off of the different dunes and sand and the rocks that he's around.
Yeah.
Like, you just hear the ominous rebreather, but you can't see him. Like, and I love the idea, like you said, hiding the his life support system, the lights in the chest and everything with the cape.
There was even one part where Vader was, you didn't see him initially in the darkness, and then he takes a couple of steps. You just see the lights on his chest slowly come into vision. It was so well done.
Yeah, she's really blown me away with just how, especially when Vader's like walking through the town, which we're going to get to it. Did you guys realize Vader literally kills a kid?
Yeah.
He snaps his neck. Like, I had to go back and look at the TV rating after I saw that, because the first time I watched it on my iPad this morning, and then I didn't get to rewatch it on my TV until I got home from work. And I did not know. I noticed he killed the father, and that's why the son came out. I didn't realize he freaking killed the son.
Yep.
Like, that was insane. But all the choreography and the cinematography of him walking through that town and panning where he's looking and where Kenobi was, and you get this obvious sense that he is sensing where he is, but it's just not there yet. It's just really good. And I said this. Where did I say this in our lightsaber chat, Justin? People are comparing this show to Book of Boba Fett already. No, it's Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Was it our Facebook group?
Well, we've talked about it a couple times. I don't remember the exact time you're talking about, but yes, it is the go-to comparison. And
my point in that comparison is Deborah had 2 out of 3 of these episodes already are like all nighttime. And movies lend so much freedom at night.
Yes, I got to touch on that too.
VFX, how the shots look, like things are just easier done. Like, we might not see Vader in daylight. You know what I mean? Like, for all we know, which it's not, but for all we know, his costume could look like garbage, but the night can mask so much. And it's such a good idea of directing these scenes at night. The glowing of the lightsabers, just all of it is so good. And it's something that Book of Boba Fett could have benefited from more instead of shooting in broad daylight all the time.
To go along with what you're saying, though, I think that Deborah Chow is, I don't know if it's her in her direction or if it's the cinematographer that's making some of these choices. I don't know. But I think one of the things Mandalorian started to suffer from was everything was dark. And you and I would be watching and we would kind of complain, like, I can't see what's going on. Like, we have a 4K TV in a dark living room, and you still are struggling to see what's going on.
Turn the brightness up. It's up.
Book of Boba Fett was kind of the opposite. Everything was the twin sons of Tatooine, bright, and then it kind of
over polished.
Yeah, it almost made it look campy because everything was fully visible, and like you could kind of like see some cheesiness of things, which they're doing such an awesome job. We got plenty of daylight scenes, but then we have these awesome dark scenes, like this like Tokyo looking city on the second episode, the lightsabers at the nighttime making use of NeoPixel technology actually being on set, and the way it would cast
Shout out
the light,
to the NeoPixel.
cast the light across the blue light across Obi-Wan and a red light across Vader. We've never seen that. We've never seen the lightsabers actual visual effects.
Mandalorian.
Not in this way though. Like in.
I mean, this was so. Then continue your point, and then I'll say what I was gonna say.
I just think that they're doing an awesome job of like running the line. That like hitting both aspects, not to the point where like we do everything in the dark because it's easy, and not to the point of daylight where everything kind of looks a little less polished. Like it's perfectly down the middle so far, at least.
No, I agree.
We're halfway done. Holy crap, we're halfway done.
That's the thing that's crazy to me. And again, you know, I really don't have I don't have a lot to complain about. I am loving the show so far. It was made very, very clear in the marketing for this show that they were going to be 1 hour episodes. And again, episode 3 was not an hour. Like, again, you can't say 47 minutes is an hour. I'm not going to round up. You give me a 50-minute episode, I'll round up. Give me 3 more minutes of lightsaber content, or 3 more minutes of plot armor for Reva. It doesn't matter, but give me 3 more minutes. Don't give me a 47-minute episode with a 3-minute recap and then 6 minutes of credits. You know, we want more anyway.
Right.
We always want more. We always want more, but I will say, as a plus so far to this show, this is one of the first times that it feels like a 6-part movie and not like Monster of the Week or like
100%.
weekly episode. This feels very
If you had
connected.
to guess right now, how many days have taken place since the start to episode 3? For me, it's 5. We've had 5 days. If I had to guess,
Start
from episode 1 to now.
Yeah.
I'm like 3 to 4. I could see
3 to 4?
definitely 5.
Well, we went through 3 days at least of
For the first episode.
Kenobi going on doing his daily routine.
Yep.
We saw 2 days at
Tatooine.
work.
Yep.
3
Yeah.
days. Three. The third was when he saw the guy hung, and then he got the mission for Leia.
Yeah. Oh, by the
and
way,
so-
Justin, we're absolutely stupid. He was cutting up the sashimi to feed his
For the
EOP. I don't know how me and you missed that.
For the,
Yeah.
I saw it the second. Yeah,
We
I was-
completely missed that.
like what is it for?
What is it for? What is he doing? Why? It's like literally the very next scene.
If they don't actually name his EOP Rue, that's a big
Oh
miss.
we missed
my
that.
gosh.
Guys, I think we got to get into this recap. We're
Yes.
20 minutes in. Sorry, listeners. We're excited. Okay, us 3 are together again.
Yeah.
Honestly, one of the shorter recaps. Again, there's a lot of context to the episode, but not a lot to physically talk about. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it right now. You guys know the drill. Interrupt me, say your piece, and I'll stop talking for the first time in my life. Kenobi meditates, seeking Qui-Gon again for the 3rd time in the Kenobi show, but he is plagued of voices of the past. As similar to the flashback that we saw in episode 1, we hear voices of Qui-Gon, Yoda, and even Anakin Skywalker himself. Piece by piece, what might be one of the greatest cinematic sequences we have seen so far, a mini montage, if you will, Darth Vader is being assembled on Mustafar. We got teased with this in Rogue One.
Back to Mustafar.
Back to
I love seeing Vader's
Yes,
Fortress.
the lair.
fortress.
Literally
Back to where
at
he
the-
died.
Literally at the waterfall.
Or not died, but yeah.
Basically, Anakin Skywalker.
I guess it is
was
where
weak.
Anakin died.
I destroyed him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And can we
Vader-
talk
Go
about his voice for a second and how awesome it is? Like
Dude,
this is
James Earl Jones. Somebody
Making it happen.
find a way. Okay, we have this technology to remake people's faces, right? The deep fakes. We need technology to recreate voices now.
we have
Because
it.
if
They use
something-
it.
Okay, good.
They're using
then,
it.
Then
So-
nothing can ever happen to James.
So they're using the same technology, which is they call it a revoicer, and it's the same thing that they use for Luke. So they take Mark Hamill now, he'll run his lines, and then they take almost literally just like the way they do. Oh my God, what's it called?
Are
With
you
the-
positive that is being done with James though? Because you can hear
Yes.
a clear difference, especially
Oh.
in Rogue One, that James is obviously older.
Yeah, he's 91.
Yeah.
That's
he,
insane.
He sounds
That's
better
insane.
in this episode than he sounded in Rogue One.
And that's
I
why.
100% agree.
Yeah.
100,
Like,
okay,
Yeah, that's
okay.
why.
There's no separation between the way he sounds in the original trilogy and
yeah.
this episode. It
I would
blew
agree.
me away.
Yeah.
It's called a re-speecher effect, and it's the same trick that they use for Luke in The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. So James talks, and his natural voice is combined with recordings to manipulate a near-exact composite replica of the original Vader speech.
Oh, that's so
And
cool.
also what I
It's
picked
amazing.
up is his cadence has shifted, and it's very much more Anakin still in there. Like, the way he says master. Like, it's different than what we ever heard Vader in the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Like, I love that it's like this little piece of Anakin is still hidden inside of Vader. Like, he's not fully converted. He's mid-conversion. I love
Yeah.
it.
Vader explains to Reva that the likes of the Grand Inquisitor means nothing. Quote, prove yourself, and the position of Grand Inquisitor is yours. Fail
He's
me,
alive.
and you will not live to regret it.
That man is so
I got-
alive right now.
I got to comment on this real quick. This was one of my points of contention in the episode because the Grand Inquisitor is a big deal. Like, he's the Grand Inquisitor for a reason. He's very powerful, temple guard. And I thought that it was a little poor to, like, I know Vader does not care. Okay, we all know Vader does not care. Vader doesn't care about the Inquisitors. It just
Yeah.
seemed really weird that, oh, Grand Inquisitor's dead, and we, you know, it's just like, I don't know. It was weird to me. Like, are we gonna get an explanation of he survives in a comic book or another book? Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Felt,
If he doesn't show back up,
felt
at
so
some point.
sudden, and you know he was built up to be the villain in the trailers. Like, he was the guy, and now that he's gone,
I don't say he was built up. I would say he was shown, and we ran with it because we've seen Rebels.
well, and,
Yeah.
we've seen this too. Like, we know that we only saw. Now that we've seen episode 3, there's only one scene in that trailer we have not seen yet. And it's
Yeah.
the scene where Reva is clearly at the fortress of the Inquisitors, deflecting lightsaber bolts with her lightsaber. That is the only scene we have not seen in the show yet.
don't bring it up.
What?
Because, I mean,
No, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
glad.
That's the only thing we haven't seen yet. So it's again, we get this trope of, you know, anyway. Sorry, I'm talking too much. Justin, go ahead.
I mean, he's definitely alive. We know he's alive. We know he survives. We see him in Rebels. And if you remember, do you remember when he dies in Rebels?
Yes,
He
he
doesn't
he
get-
mirrors this line.
He doesn't get like Darth Maul style cut in half, defeated in a lightsaber duel.
Nah.
He gets defeated, yes, but then he takes his own life. He's like,
Yep.
all right, I'm out.
I'm out.
I will not. Like,
Face Vader.
what does he say? He says like there are
says-
some fates worse than death or something like that.
Yep. There are some fates worse than death, and he gets beat by Kanan, and he's hanging on the edge. And Kanan offers to help him, and he says there are some fates worse than death, which is he got beat by Kanan in a duel, which he never should have lost. And he kills himself because he doesn't want to face Vader. Same thing that Vader mirrors to Reva. You fail me, like you're not going to live to regret it.
Which to me, like he's gonna get the cyborg guts just like Fennec. Like he's gonna survive through that same tech that Vader
Boba
has.
loves them robotic
Like
guts.
yeah, I mean Vader's literally full of it. They obviously are probably the most advanced in cybernetic
Yep.
organ replacements and Bacta and whatever.
yeah.
He's definitely alive. Like I mean, we know it. This is probably the end of him as far as I think being a villain because even in the press tour, the 3 people touring, it's Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Reva.
Yep.
That's it. Like they're obviously the 3 main characters.
Vader looks out in the distance of his throne room. Back to the cargo ship, Leia asks Ben to make the ship go faster. This lends to a touching moment where Leia asks Ben about how the Force works. Quote, "Have you ever been afraid of the dark? How does it feel when you turn on a light? I feel safe. It feels like that." This was fantastic. This is literally the first canon explanation of what the Force feels like, to my knowledge. And I don't know about you, Justin. I read a lot of Star Wars books. You read a lot of Star Wars books. I've never heard an explanation of how the Force feels.
And I like it too because it's just some cool foreshadowing for Leia's Force abilities
Yeah.
that she'll inevitably.
Tons of foreshadowing for Leia in this episode.
Oh yeah.
We have the fighter quote later in the episode.
Oh yeah, teach me to shoot. Yeah,
Obi-Wan and Leia land on Nakuso, the new planet that we have in Kenobi. The planet is obviously occupied by the Empire. Off in the distance, Ben sees a familiar face. For the first time in Kenobi, we see the actual face of Hayden Christensen, clad back in his Jedi robe as Anakin Skywalker.
Sad
cool.
flashback.
Sad. Dude, I had to pause it. I knew it was Hayden, but I had to pause it. It was so cool, and it reminisced me so much of the Revenge of the Sith point where he's walking back into the room on Mustafar and he looks back at the camera and he has the Sith eyes. It was just
the
that
yellow.
shot to me again. Like it was so good,
Really
so
cool.
good.
I love how broken he is, man.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. It's such a great plot point.
Reva's ship approaches the Inquisitor fortress. In a meeting room below the ocean, the Inquisitors talk about what their next move should be.
Can you
After-
name what the name of that fortress is? It's a
Inquisitor
stupid
Sanctorum? Something
fortress. Fortress Inquisitorius.
like that. Thank you. Yeah.
So dumb.
Yeah.
So dumb.
So dumb. That's the name of the studio now. Cantinus Sanctotorius. After suggesting that they send out all the probes, the fifth brother puts on a true display of his dark side powers by pinning Reva to the table. Quote, "That seat is mine, not yours. I am next in line." Am I the only one who wants more from fifth brother? Like,
Yes.
holy crap, dude.
Freaking awesome.
Like, not also the first time that she just got manhandled by the Force.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. And there was a little thing that's foreshadowing something. You see her like touch her side, like there's an old wound before she starts talking back. Really interested to see what that leads to, and
Ooh, I didn't catch
hopefully flashback. Yeah,
To me, I picked on that. To me, it was a lightsaber itch. Like she's so
like
trigger
trying to reach
happy.
for her hilt.
Like that's her like not. You know how like cowboys they dance on the wood of their gun. You know.
yeah.
That to me that's what it was. But same train of thought. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't wait to see what that leads to.
Reva has been asked by Vader himself to lead the hunt on Kenobi. Leia and Ben arrive at their rendezvous. Instead of waiting patiently, Ben allows his thoughts and feelings to get the best of him, and they decide to leave. Leia, because she still does not have a backpack with a leash on it, decides to flag down a passing by transport.
To be fair, like, what the heck was Ben like? Well, we just arrived. Let's leave. Like,
Yeah.
Listen,
He's
Justin, we had
anxious.
43 minutes to tell this story. We needed to keep it moving, okay?
No, but the
like
bro's anxious.
they could have easily done like they arrive and then like old school like side pan of black screen to like now it's nighttime. Nobody's come. Let's go.
I
Like,
would have
he, like,
loved...
Literally.
I would have loved hearkening back to the Kenobi Legends book.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved literally, and I mean literally, a Bear Grylls montage of Kenobi setting up base camp for the night. I would have watched that over and over again. He's like, "Hey, this is a dead Eope. I'm gonna eat it." Like, I'm serious. Like, I would have watched it over and over again. Kenobi starting a fire, finding some weird animal to make shelter with, whatever the case may be. My dude, like you said, he was like, "All right, we're here. This is
Dude,
it. Let's go."
If you
Like,
notice, he's like legit mid-sentence talking to Leia, and he's like, "Bah, bah, 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 bah. Okay, we're here. Nobody's here. Let's go." Da, 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 da. I'm like, dude.
like someone has a tracker and they know
Yeah.
that he's there instantly. Yeah, it is what it is.
Like, take a 10-minute breather at least.
Oh, yeah. Freck, a mole-type humanoid, gives them a ride. Now, I absolutely loved the use of a real alien. Like, what's
Great
the word I'm
practical
looking
effects
for? Practical
on
effects.
the
Thank
on
you.
the little tendril
Yes.
mouth thing. Yeah.
My dude is a mole, okay? Does anybody remember the fighting game called Bloody Roar?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So there was
I
a
used to
mole
stand in
guy.
line. I used to stand in line inside of CompUSA to play the demo of that.
all the AMC's had Bloody Roar back in the day, and they were all animal style fighters. So you would fight as a human, and then when you got to a certain
Transform.
HP, you transform. And there was
Yeah.
a mole dude. This guy's him. It's Frick.
Yeah.
Like I loved it.
Great reference.
Frick, Frick was it's actually a cameo of
Yes.
Zach Braff. Zach
Or
Braff
Seth
from,
Rogen as
Or
as
Seth
Connor.
Rogen. Seth Rogen, as I was told earlier, apparently.
from Scrubs. You know,
Yes,
you know who
great.
he is.
Yeah, Zach Braff.
Yeah, you know, that was a
They're
really cool
continuing
cameo.
this trend of comedians, SNL, people that are taking like, if they do not make a Star Wars sitcom soon, we riot.
Yes,
Right? We riot.
I like
There's-
it.
there's
Okay.
enough comedy people who've worked in
Exact-
Star Wars now.
Exactly.
You need it.
Exactly. While moving along the transport, Frick also picks up 4 stormtroopers. Again, like in episode 2, Kenobi refers to the friendship that he had with Padme in talking to Leia. This leads Leia to say, quote, "You knew her. My real mother, didn't you? You're still lying to me." Again, this is also where my rating for the episode that was 9 out of 10 has gone down to 8 out of 10. It's getting kind of hard to understand. And again, we're going back in time. I'm just telling you how I feel.
Why she doesn't remember him.
Why does she not remember Kenobi? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, she clings to Kenobi so fast, so much so that she accuses him of being her real father. And how painful was it for Kenobi to not be like, "Oh, by the way, girl, I know who your dad is." Like,
Yeah.
you don't want to know. But
But and again, the story's not complete yet. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know where Kenobi's journey with Leia is going to end. She could have memory loss, use the Force to wipe her memory. We don't know. But the chemistry between the two characters, and you see that Kenobi cares for her, but also knows to keep her at arm's length for her
Yeah.
own good.
Shout out-
Seeing that.
And shout out
really
to this
cool.
conversation for Obi-Wan to reference having a brother.
Oh, yeah.
I got this. Hang on, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Okay.
Because this is also let me find it. For the first time in canon history, Obi-Wan talks about his family. Kenobi has a brother. Shout outs to Obi too.
Oh, me too.
If you did not know, Ewan McGregor literally has an older brother that is part of the Royal Navy, and he is a
Royal
fighter
Air
pilot.
Force.
Royal Air
Royal Air
Force.
Force,
Thank you.
yeah.
And his call sign is Obi 2.
Yeah.
How freaking
He's a fighter pilot, and his name is
freaking
Obi
cool
too.
is that? My headphone just went. That's so cool. It's so freaking cool. But
Yeah.
it's interesting because it reminds me too of in Return of the Jedi, we have
In
the
the
conversation.
screenplay?
No. Literally in Return of the Jedi, we have
Oh.
the conversation between Luke and Leia, and Luke asks her, "Do you remember your mother?" And she goes, "Oh, I remember she was very beautiful, blah, 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 blah." Well, she obviously never saw her mother, so she shouldn't remember that. You know, George didn't know that he would go back and write everything. But it just harkens back, I think, that Deborah looked back and said, we're going to add stuff for Kenobi, or, you know, and Kenobi comments on being taken from his family from a very young age. I think the two have a connection between the character later talking to her brother and Kenobi talking about his brother, younger brother. He says a baby.
Well, it's also funny that they say, like, in one of the very early screenplays of Return of the Jedi, which is where I thought you were going with this, in one of the early screenplays, they wrote that Owen Lars ended up being Obi-Wan Kenobi's brother.
Long lost brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was obviously never came to fruition, but I just found that hilarious that why would he be brothers with Owen Lars?
And it's
But-
obviously no longer canon, and that fact actually stayed the 1983 novelization of the original film too. That still can be found there. That fact.
Frick brings Obi and Leia to an Imperial checkpoint. Just as Obi is being identified by an Imperial probe droid, He shoots the Imperial probe droid right in
Just
the
when I
center
like
eye.
that guy too, man.
I know,
This
right?
guy is
Like,
really cool. I
yeah.
like this guy.
My
He's
mole guy.
I
Shout
brought
out
some
to the
guys.
mole
You might
people.
want to check him out. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this piece of crap.
this guy. Go dig a hole.
Freaking Seth Rogen.
Yes, Seth Rogen. Holes. We're gonna call him holes.
Yeah.
Oh my god. You're gonna trigger me.
Chippendale. Watch Chippendale if you haven't seen it. My God, it's hilarious.
Shout outs to Post Malone singing the theme song.
No.
so good. So good.
It's been on repeat
never
at
loved
Justin's
this
house.
song.
Now we can use Post Malone
Yes.
in hashtags for this episode. You know,
Oh.
come on. There it is.
Hashtag Post Malone.
Hashtag Post Malone. One by one, Obi eliminates the troopers. Let me just say that I thought this was super satisfying to see him not use the saber here. Because this was
He
so
has
James
been
Bond.
Practicing since Grievous, apparently.
Yeah.
It's so
Soon
uncivilized.
realized it is civilized. You know, can't use
Gotta
the
do.
saber.
hitting the guard from the top of the tower. The guard falls and just gets sliced right in half.
Oh, I love
at the
that.
checkpoint.
Yeah.
And
was-
I
Oh,
love
that
that.
was so good.
I love they keep the stormtrooper trope of like the
And he
when
falls
they
like
fall.
sideways.
What is it? What is the? Is it called
Wilhelm scream.
Yeah,
The
Wilhelm
Wilhelm
yeah,
scream,
exactly.
yeah.
yeah. My leg. I needed the SpongeBob guy. Like,
My leg.
My leg. Yeah. I needed that. A new garrison of troopers arrive, but their trooper officer turns on them, in turn
Did not.
saving Kenobi.
See this coming at all.
I didn't either.
Me either.
I didn't either.
Not even a
The-
little bit. Like,
Yeah.
did not see
So
that coming
good.
at all.
No. The Inquisitors now know exactly where Kenobi is. Tala Dith, our woman Imperial officer that is now helping Kenobi, has brought them into town. Sorry, it's Durith. Dirith. Tala Durith is her name, by the way. Not named in the episode. She says it one time, but she doesn't say her
Tala.
last name. Yeah,
in the
Tala.
credits?
Tala. No, she tells Kenobi, my name is Tala, but she doesn't say her last name. I had to look it up. And I think that we are going to see her in the next episode, and that was something that I said to you and Travis, Justin, is I hope that we do continue to see her. This actress, I don't have her name in front of me, famously known for her role in Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Shout outs to our Kenobi cast episode. Justin, me and you predicted that she would be Imperial. So I looked that up, and we were right. She was, quote, Imperial. Later in the episode, which we'll get to, she does explain that she joined the Empire not knowing what that they were about. And then
One
when
of
she
our
found
favorite,
out, Lost
one of our
Stars.
absolute favorite storylines is these people
Lost
who
Stars.
join the Empire because
Yes.
they legitimately think they're bringing order. They're
Yep.
doing a good thing. I mean, just like the Republic. Like the Republic was doing good. Okay, this is the new version of the Republic.
Yep.
And then once they find out how they react to it, I absolutely love it.
Absolutely love it.
I hope we get more of that in Andor, of turncoats that are like help.
Yes.
Like I like more and more of this. Is
Hashtag
awesome.
turncoat.
Yep.
I'm getting a sticker. I'm putting it on my truck. I don't know. That might get hate for some
I
reason.
only
Never
make my
mind.
references to the War of Independence.
Hamilton.
So
Oh, yeah. Hamilton.
it's all my references.
Yes. Tala explains that they have a way to get off planet. However, it will take some time. Ben and Leia are then led to a safe house. Quote, the path. Shoutouts to the Underground Railroad, by the way. This was such a callback to American history. Literally a underground path that is leading people to salvation. Not the first time in history, but the most recent is Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad. I loved everything about this scene. And this is the direct tie-in that I think that Obi walks in, or Ben at this point. I guess we should stop calling him Obi. And he starts seeing all the people that have written on the walls. It kind of reminded me of like an Airbnb, because you go to an Airbnb and you have the notebook.
you go through the little book.
I was here on this date. Tala was so nice. She saved me from the Empire. Like, I'm just like, why is Quinlan writing on the wall? Like, why? But it's still cool, because we get to mention people. Hopefully Cal is written on those walls somewhere, and we get this big tie-in to Jedi Survivor that was just announced. Same timeline that was announced at Jedi Celebration.
So like in these names that you see written there,
A bunch.
the thing that I am the most excited about, like absolutely the most excited about, is people who have way more time than we will ever have translated the Aurebesh.
Arabish.
Yeah. And one of the
Aurebesh, you're right.
names is Valen Halcyon, who is
Yes.
the name given to Hal Horn,
Yep.
who is then the Padawan who makes it through the Purge, but then later gives birth to Corran Horn, who is
Yep.
one of like
Big legends. Big
hugest
legends
character.
Big
Part of
stuff.
Rogue Squadron,
Yes.
trained by Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
Like
He
let's
could be- he
go
could-
give us a Corran Horn actually survived. Oh my goodness.
I mean, we do know who Luke takes as his Padawans because of the Kylo comic, so we know it's not Corran, but we could have a deviation of the story. You know, we have so many other people that we have Cal that survived. We have Ezra that survived. We still
He
don't
could-
know what Ezra's doing.
And he could just be floating around in the Resistance as a Force sensitive, like top tier pilot
Like
that doesn't
Poe.
know.
Yep.
Literally like Poe. Yeah, there's some big implications here. Another big one. Most people know this Easter egg by now. Shout outs to the Phantom Menace. Quinlan Voss was here. Quote.
Shout out to Justin for saying that Quinlan Voss is alive in the last episode.
Shout out to, who's Justin? Quote. Only when your eyes are closed can you see the way. I want to know what this means. Because it was not said for no reason, nor was it inscribed on this wall by Quinlan for no reason.
Quinlan's here.
So again, only when your eyes are closed can you see the way. I wonder if this is going to have a callback to Kenobi of why he can't communicate with Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
That's
what I was thinking.
That's my theory. Is
he has to find that inner peace. He has to find
Yeah.
that peace to reconnect with the Force. And we've seen in this entire episode, he's living out of fear.
Yeah.
Everything he does, the reason why he wasn't staying put in the field, the reason why he continues to move, why he doesn't trust anybody, is just fear. And because of that fear, he's not connected to the Force as he should be. So I'm sure the show will do a better job of explaining that in a future episode and making a call back to that for sure. But that was
Yeah.
a really great quote. I really love that.
And then another thing to really think about, that it's easy to not dwell on this part of it, but imagine Obi-Wan, who's been 100% isolated to the point that he didn't even know Darth Vader was a thing, and the Inquisitors were a thing.
Yeah.
And he
Do I comment on this now or do I comment on this later?
hold on. He knew that him and Yoda went to Coruscant to try to sneak back in and save as many Jedis as he can. He had no idea if anything worked. To now have this moment that he sees names of people he knows, these other Jedi who are alive and in hiding, and has now some type of like gratification for all of that effort that they put in. And like he's been like, he's known nothing. Like he's blind to the galaxy, and now he sees like there's this whole system, and oh, here's Quinlan. Oh, here's this name. Like we have to imagine what he saw. Like that had to have been an awesome feeling for him.
That's a really good point.
Continue, Connor.
Again, I can comment on this later, but I do find it very suspicious that after 10 years, Obi does not know who that Anakin survived and that he's Vader. I don't buy it.
I'd buy it. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
don't buy
even
it.
he's living in a cave.
Like it's
He
canon.
has
It's
no
canon, okay?
technology.
Like I have to buy it. But he knows who Inquisitors are. He knows they're answering to somebody. I don't know.
He didn't know
Anyway.
who Inquisitors were, did he?
100%. You're
Well,
telling
he
me
could tell that they were Force sensitive through the
Yeah.
Force, obviously.
Well,
but
we gotta again. We'll
continue.
We'll
Yeah,
come back to this.
continue.
All right.
Continue.
Yeah. Final thoughts.
Stormtroopers bang
break
at the back
desk.
door.
We worked hard on that desk.
The loader droid is ready to strike. Shoutouts to the loader droid, ready to absolutely bash a stormtrooper like the armor.
El Kabong with a goddamn mini sledge.
El
right
Kabong with just
Backing.
okay, holding a hammer behind his back. Leia is asked to be taught how to shoot, an obvious and yet amazing foreshadowing to who she'll become as a resistance/rebel leader. Tala explains why she joined the Empire. Before she knew what the Empire actually was, it was too late. Ben starts to collapse under a very heavy verge in the Force and what he is feeling. Deep breathing, incessant of Darth Vader is being heard. Walking down the streets, Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Vader, is seen by the eyes of Ben for the first time. Vader, using the Force, pulls out a father. Then his son runs out to save his father. Vader also kills the son. Ben begs Tala to let her and Leia run. His plan? To lead Vader away. Again, Reva is reminded of her place by the fifth brother, telling her, your job is to stay here to sweep the town. Do not engage. Running through the desert, Vader's crimson blade ignites and brightens the desert sands as he confronts Ben for the first time since their duel on Mustafar. Ben wants no part of it. I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm out.
He pulls out the lightsaber. He's like, bye.
I'm out.
Where's the button to turn this thing on? He's like,
Ben runs but is stopped in his tracks by the sound of Vader. As you heard as this episode opens, Ben ignites his lightsaber. Quote, what have you become? Vader replies, I am what you made me. Again, Ben runs. The Empire sweeps the town, Reva and the other Inquisitors rushing through civilians of the town. But of course, Reva somehow finds the exact room, the exact switch, and the exact path. If she's this strong, nothing can happen to this girl. But she's not in any further Star Wars. The plot armor is killing me.
She's had senses and she's had instincts.
For sure.
That's the
It's
only
all
thing that I
force-driven.
can say.
No,
yeah,
it's all force driven. For sure.
right, right.
Yeah.
And we see that it's obviously paying off.
Yeah.
You know, and so I get your point, but at the same time,
It seemed it's very very quick. It's very very quick.
yeah,
It's very quick.
Yeah.
You know,
it doesn't take a lot of time.
and you know, I think that this scene would have paid off better if she was not literally touching Lars 45 minutes ago.
Yeah,
Like we've seen this force power of the mind probe, you know, with Kylo. We've seen it with Maul in Clone Wars. She obviously has it. She uses it on Haja, and then to see her like, you know, again, we have to propel the story forward. It's a little nitpicky. It was very very quick, and it was a little shocking.
it also could just be editing. If they had edited in a little bit more and spaced it out a little bit better, of her finding it throughout the time, it probably wouldn't have felt so fast.
Or her or her intercepting Leia, because you know we see the spaceport in the episode where they're going at the end of this tunnel. Like literally, they pan up and you see the same cargo shuttles that you see the Empires use in Rogue One fly away. That's obviously where this tunnel leads up the mountain, you know. So if she would have found her way up there instead of somehow finding her way through this one-way cave, I think it would have been better.
Yeah,
ahead of Leia. Too.
How does she get ahead of Leia before?
That was,
you see what I'm saying though?
For me,
yeah.
Like, I didn't care how she found it as much as, like, how were you in a one-way tunnel and you're ahead of her? Like, what?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, so it would have made sense for her to be in front of the space freighter that they're about to take to get off instead of in the tunnel.
Yeah, like, she went to the spaceport, not through the tunnel.
Yeah,
Maybe they'll fix that at the beginning of the next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to me, I mean, I can see the point to pick it apart. It didn't bother me in the moment of me watching it, though.
It only bothered me on multiple rewatches. It didn't bother me at first. It was only multiple rewatches. Again, we have to perpetuate her story. I completely accept and understand that. I do hope that we see more for the character, and we're about to get to a huge kind of justification of the character, if you will. That's going to give more to her backstory here in a second. Ben is unable to run away from Vader any longer. The two clash sabers. Vader, with his one-handed style that has been canonically written from canon in other movies, keeps Ben on his heels. The years have made you weak, Darth Vader says.
I love
Tala.
that line. Yeah.
Oh, dude, fantastic. Why does Vader get all the good lines, dude?
Good.
And James Earl
So
Jones,
good.
like, I wish I could literally emulate that, but I'm not a 90-year-old black man from Mississippi, so I can't. Like, it's so perfect. I can't do it.
You could be if you wanted to be.
Well, maybe. There's voice actors who could do it.
Yeah.
I'm not one of them.
Mark,
Mark,
get back on the show.
Mark, do Vader. Tala leaves Leia. Why? Because Leia begs her to help Ben. Vader begins.
Another awesome foreshadowing of Leia, like just fearlessness and selflessness.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. Vader begins to overpower Ben. Reva notices while she was walking through the path the crest of the Jedi Order. As she pauses, this causes extreme rage. More proof that she is no doubt the youngling in the beginning of this episode that we saw. And more so in the first episode, her quote, "The Jedi Order abandoned you."
Yeah.
Remember that she said that.
Uh-huh.
Vader.
It also makes me, I'm like very, like, can't wait to see, because we got 3 more episodes, but just the simple line from A New Hope where Vader says, "Last time I saw you, I was but a learner. Now I am the master." That's not right now.
No.
That is for sure, because he is getting wrecked. So, like, I can't wait to, like, for the climax of this show to come to an end, and, like, Obi-Wan to hopefully get his things together to just, like, work Vader over. I love it in some way, whether it's through the Force or through a lightsaber, like, just because they got to keep that line.
To Qui-Gon, and Qui-Gon unlocks a six chi block and goes full Naruto Nine-Tail Beast on him. Like
they have to keep that line as meaningful as it was in A New Hope. Like, they have to.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, like, this part right now, like, Obi-Wan is like, nah, like, he's like,
Get right.
you can't even call him a Jedi almost at this point.
Yeah.
The dude in a robe with a lightsaber. I mean, Finn did a better job than this.
Vader corners Kenobi. Using the Force, he drops an unknown material on the ground. He then begins to Force choke Kenobi off the ground. I wanted to point out
Like a little bee.
how strong. It's very clear that Kenobi is weak in the Force at this point. But if you have read Star Wars books or played Star Wars Outcast, Jedi Outcast 2 is a big one. Jedis and Sith are trained in against Force user combat to perpetuate a Force shell, if you will, around them that keeps
Shield. Yeah.
a shield from, people are always like, oh, why doesn't a Force user just use the Force and turn off their lightsaber? Just turn off the power switch. Well, Force users put a protective bubble around themselves to keep that type of things from happening. Now, we have seen this in canon. Vader literally turns off the lightsabers of not only Canon, but Ezra, and that is because he is much more powerful than them. He is able to penetrate their Force bubble and literally turn off their lightsabers. This is to prove not only how strong Vader is at this point, but to also show how weak Kenobi is. For Kenobi to literally be Force choked and lifted up off the ground to the point where he drops his saber, it's just a huge point. And it's another point as to why the books are so important, is to understand more so how Force combat works. Because it's not just oh, I use the Force and I trip you and I stab you and you're dead. Like, they
Right.
have defensive mechanisms behind all this stuff.
Yep. Yep.
Anything to add, Justin?
No, I think you summed that up perfectly, because I was going to comment on the same thing. And I also find it funny that he dropped his lightsaber, which was his constant pet peeve and discipline to Anakin about Anakin
Yes.
dropping his lightsaber.
Yes. It's a natural reaction too, right? You know, like
Yeah.
it's just a really good scene, and again, it's to propel the narrative of how strong Vader is and how weak Kenobi is, and hopefully when we get the final climactic fight between these two, you know, I'm sure we're gonna have more fireworks, because I'm sure people were possibly a little disappointed in this fight. What I will
better
say,
have the sweetest Obi-Wan regaining strength and training montage that's
Oh.
ever been created.
I want Eye of the Tiger,
Dun,
and I want him running
dun,
up
dun.
like dunes of Tatooine, you know, like
Oh,
with
yeah.
the Eopie in the background, okay? Like all of it.
He's
all right? All of
outpacing
it.
the Opie.
Yeah, just force speeding, like yeah, exactly.
Gets to the top.
Yeah. Using his saber, Vader ignites the unknown material on fire, dragging Kenobi through the very fire of which he once
Savage.
burned. Quote, "Now, Obi-Wan, you will suffer." Savage. Savage. My dude burned on Mustafar, and now my dude is going to burn on... I keep wanting to say Narcoosee, but it's not Narcoosee. It's...
That's just an Indian name in Central Florida.
Yeah, no, and in Kissimmee, no, it's
Yeah.
I have the planet name anyway, but it's the planet anyway. Absolutely insane. Loved this whole scene, and actually, I'm looking it up right now. I can't play just
Mapuzo.
pictures. No, what?
Mapuzo is the name of the planet.
That's not it.
Mapuzo. Yeah, it is.
That's not it.
That's 100% the name of the planet.
It's not. They say it. No, it's not it.
I am willing to bet.
How many?
That's
an
not how
entire
it's
keg
that's
of
not,
beer.
it's not how it's pronounced. The weird sister that nobody knows who she is with her weird tentacles, she says it, and that's not it. This is something that they've made. We're not going to be able to see it.
I'm looking at it.
You actually can
Some
see
Jedi
it.
robes.
Yeah, you
Uh-huh.
actually can see it. So this was just made canon in the new Benjamin sent this to me. Shout outs to Ben. Go check out his Etsy. Anyway,
Boscar.
Yes, Boscar. On his right sleeve of his Jedi robes are completely burned, and these are the robes that he uses as in MP4, Episode 4. So now, because of Kenobi, it is now canonically marked that he was dragged through fire and burned by Vader, and it was already updated before this show came out.
Huh.
Super, super interesting.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Now the tunic doesn't match up exactly, but it doesn't mean that there's explanations behind all of that.
Oh, now
Super,
you're okay
super-
with plot armor. Now you're okay with plot armor.
Yeah, it's plot armor, dude. I can't do anything about it. Just it is what it is. I already said I was like interesting. That's not the same clothing he has on, but we'll go with it. It's literally what I said in the text message thread. Anyway, before Kenobi, of course, can be killed by Vader, more plot armor shows up, as Justin just pointed out. Tala sharp shoots the stormtrooper before Vader is able to claim his prize. With the help of the loader droid that was about to gonk multiple stormtroopers earlier, Kenobi is pulled away from Vader. A lot of people had problems with this scene. And I think that a lot of people are overlooking already canon things that Vader does. Vader cannot simply have Kenobi right now. Why? Just like in A New Hope, when they allow the rebel crew and the Falcon to escape, they put a tracking device to find the rebels. So when Vader sees somebody willing to help Kenobi, what is Vader's thought process? I can have Kenobi.
Yeah.
And
Why
I
have
can have
one when I can have a whole bundle of
Exactly. So I think a lot of people are going to have these immediate I've already seen it on Twitter. Immediate backlash. Oh, he could have just pulled him right back through the fire. The second fire that was started was even bigger. Like all this stuff, right? Vader is so much smarter than that. When he sees somebody is physically helping Kenobi, he restrains himself. He knows that there's bigger fish to fry. You know, there's more than just Kenobi. It's all the Jedi that he wants, not just Kenobi.
Yep.
Anything to add?
Nope, I agree, and I think I did feel weird initially when seeing that scene and being like, well, he's just letting him go, but you're right. It's always been that way. And for anybody who's played Jedi Fallen Order, the whole plot, spoilers, gets to being around finding other Jedi younglings that survived, and Darth Vader.
They say that in this episode too.
Yeah,
Tala literally says it's not just Jedi; it's Force sensitive people.
Yep. So that's he's on a mission, and it's not Kenobi is personal. We see that in the way he treats Kenobi this episode. But the rest of the Jedi is his mission for sure.
Yeah. The episode ends with Reva intercepting Leia. The episode fades to black. One thing that I wanted to note about the credits before we end this episode is I think it's super interesting that these credits, to your point earlier, Justin, where this is a mini movie, these credits are in blue lettering in space, just like other Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
We're not getting concept art and
it's true.
It's such a cool detail, and I think you brought it up in a earlier episode too.
Sounds right. Sounds right. That tracks.
It tracks. Is how cool would it be if we had crawls instead of flashbacks? Because we could literally, it could fit. It would fit the bill if we had a crawl instead of a flashback. It would fit the bill.
Yeah.
I also would love that once this is out, if they did a mega edit and just made a 4.5 hour long movie.
Love it.
Shout outs to the Reddit 7. It's a 5.5 hour Revenge of the Sith edit. If you have not seen it, you can find it on Reddit, and it's all of Revenge of the Sith mixed with season 7 of Clone Wars and mixed with all the Jedi Fallen Order 66 clips.
Love it.
Freaking fantastic. If you've got 5.5 hours of Star Wars to kill, it's amazing because it's so good. I'll send both of you the link.
I need that.
Yeah, it's awesome. We need
also
to
sent
rip
you
it on a Blu-ray.
The link to Mapuzo if you need that in the StreamYard chat. So
she says in the subtitles, Nakuso, Nocooso.
Totally wrong.
That's what she says in the subtitles.
It's Mapuzo.
Mapuzo, Nakuso, same thing. Wait,
All right.
Who has the mechanical keyboard?
That is me. I'm looking this up.
Jordan the tech guy.
He's splicing it for us.
Yes.
I'm literally trying to find the.
Regardless,
the
we live in Florida, and it's Narcoossee. If you know about Narcoossee, it's Narcoossee.
As far as I'm concerned, it's Narcoossee.
It's Narcoossee.
Right over by Boggy Creek.
I can't find an answer.
This
This wraps it up.
Posted the link on Fandom Wiki. It's right there in the chat.
It's Fandom Wiki already doesn't count. Guys, thank you for joining us on this wild episode of covering episode of 3 of Kenobi. Guys, if you don't know, we have a fantastic giveaway for Beskar.
Yes.
Drop some over on the Instagram. Okay,
They won't break.
Go check out. Yeah, they won't break their metal. go check out the giveaway of the Beskar over on the Instagram. And, of course, you can call in at 407-900-5084. Tell us what you thought of this episode of Kenobi. The hotline is open right now. We would love to hear from you. I was your boy. It's Con. And, of course, sitting across from me, I don't know, one of you go first.
Jay Breezy.
There it is.
The casual kid.
And we'll catch you guys next time.